Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the last video of the night. We're going to go over UFC 318 picks and predictions. I'm not going to go ahead and give you guys bets yet because we don't have the availability to look at all the fights that have total round props and winning methods as well. So those are currently not available yet, just the moneyline picks, which a lot of them, I'll be able to go over the moneyline picks, and I can give you guys my actual parlay that I'm doing with the moneyline picks that I got for this event. I may consider dabbling a little bit in the total rounds and so forth over this weekend just to see how I do. But that depends on finances and whatnot. But let's go over the entire UFC 318 card. The first fight of the night is Carly Judas versus Nicole Colorari. I'm taking Nicole Colorari, and I'll tell you why. A lot of people got Carly as the one to win this fight by 74%, only 26 on Tapology. I'll say one thing. She did lose in her debut by split decision to a 5-1 fighter. Ernesta Karate. I believe is how you pronounce her name. She lost by split decision. Going up against a woman who's 5-1 is not a bad record, but we can't go specifically off of records. So let's go to UFC.com. And see this here. Alright, so let's see here. Alright, significant strikes. We got Kari with 11.18 strikes per minute landed. Significant strikes percentage landed is 53%. But she does absorb a lot of punches. She's got 10.01. She has a defense of 53%. Her opponent, who I'm taking, Colorari, has 3.85 landed punches per minute with a 41% striking accuracy and 5.57 strikes absorb and has a 55% defensive rate. That ain't too bad, but the activity on the feet is pretty bad. Takedowns, though, is pretty good. 3.8, 29%. Submission averages is 1.52%. Takedown accuracy, though, isn't too good. Takedown defense is 70% by Collery. She doesn't do too many takedowns, and even if she does, she only lands 25% of them. Maybe I might have to switch my pick. Carly Judas might be the proper pick to go with because of the stats alone for her ability to strike and whatnot. So I'm going to go with Carly Judas in this one. And we're going to go with that. And just stick with that one. Next, we have Bruno Ferreira versus Jackson McAvee. I'm taking Bruno Ferreira because he has experience, knockout power, ability like nobody's business. And Jackson McAvee Don't know much about him. Heard about him a couple of times because he was scheduled a fight but never got that debut fight. He's debuting into this fight. I'm taking Bruno Ferreira. Ryan Spann versus Lakaza Bezecki. I mean, I'm not even I can't stand Ryan Spann. Not as a person, but as a fighter. He is very, very difficult to even... I would not go with anyone betting on him at all. Money line wise, no. You want to predict this fight not going the distance? That's the direction I'd go with this fight, or just lay off of this entire fight completely. Because honestly, I don't know how this fight's going to go. Looking at the grappling skills of his opponent, Ryan Spann's opponent, he ain't that great. 33% takedown defense, 36%. I think maybe Ryan Spann could get this fight to the ground if he really wants to fight on the ground. Striking landed per minute is 5.02 by Ryan Spann's opponent. 50% accuracy, which is good. He absorbs only 3.68 punches per minute and gets 54% of defense. Ryan Spann, on the other hand, not so hot. I don't know. I don't know if I would even take Ryan Spann at this point, just reading these stats. But I will lean to Ryan Spann anyway because of the experience. I think his opponent doesn't have that much experience at all compared to Ryan Spann. So let me just take a look at at his opponent real quick. His opponent, Ryan Spann's opponent is... Let's see here. Oh, wow. He's 1-5 in the UFC. Yeah, I couldn't back this guy. No fucking way. I'm going to take Ryan Spann to win this and take the W. I think he's walking away with the victory without question. If he loses to him, I honestly don't know what to tell you at this point. Ryan Spann ought to go ahead and just be done with UFC and professional fighting for that matter. Jimmy Crute versus Massine Petrino, I think is how you pronounce it, or Pachinino, some shit like that. This fight, I'm going with Jimmy Crute, but honestly, do I care? Not really. Let's see how he wins most of the time. Jimmy Crute usually wins by knockout. He's won about 5 fights by knockout. 25% of his fights, 3 of them were by decision, and 4 of them by submission. So let's see what Jimmy Crute's opponent is like. Jimmy Crute has been knocked out 4 times, submitted twice, and has lost twice by decision. He's also knocked out most of his opponents, 65%. Most of the time he's won by knockout. Ooh, let me go back and see what. He's been knocked out twice, Jimmy Crute. So it might be a possibility he might be eating an L. I'm not sure. I'm going to go with Jimmy Crute, but Marcin Patino could possibly be a good pick to go with. He might be able to win this, but then again, Jimmy Crute's 29 years old. He's 37. That might play a factor in it as well. This is a fight I would not bet on, money line or anything else. I don't know how this fight's going to go. It could go decision. It could go to a knockout. I think one of those 2 things are going to happen, most definitely. Islam Dolatov versus Adam Fugit. And obviously, this is Islam Dolatov I'm taking here. I think he's going to walk away with the W. I think he's going to win by knockout without question. You want to go for that knockout prop? I think that will occur. If the odds are decent enough and you want to go for the fight going the distance, you want to say no and use that as a parlay piece, you could definitely do that if you want. Depending on the 1.5 rounds, if it's plus money for under 1.5, that's something I would definitely shoot for. But if you want to play it safe and moneyline Dolotov in a parlay piece, I mean, that's definitely a safe bet to go with. I would definitely go with Dolotov in this as a parlay piece. He's definitely has a very high chance of winning. I don't think you have anything to worry about with him. I think he will definitely walk away with the W for you guys if you want to put him in a parlay piece. As a parlay piece, I should say. Next fight, we're looking at Atiba Gatar versus Robert Valentin. This one I've really honed in on. Gatar, I'm taking. I think he can win this. But Valentin has been known to win some fights on the ground. He's won most of his fights in submission. 6 of them. Out of what? Out of 10? I mean, that's a lot. To win 6 fights by submission, that's 60% of his wins. That's a little concerning. So, I mean, he's going to have to take the fight to the ground. And Gutierrez is not exactly what I would call a great takedown defense fighter. I've heard that he's not good with the takedowns. Maybe something has changed, but he is definitely expensive to go with. He's minus 550 right now on Hard Rock Bet. If you want to use him as a parlay, there's a chance you might take a risk in losing with him because Valentin is a submission artist. And the only way you can really submit someone is most of the time by the ground unless you have a standing guillotine performed. But yeah, I'm going with Atiba Gutierrez. But if you wanted to take a shot at Robert Valentin as a bet, he's a plus 420 right now. So, I mean, he ain't a waste. He's a nice chunk of change that you could possibly walk away with a nice shitload of money. Just saying. Francisco Prado versus, hold on one sec. Nikoli Vertenikov. This one, with my knowledge of UFC and how the fighters are and so forth, I'm going to say Prado wins based on age. I mean, he's won most of his fights by knockout and submission and lost 3 of them by decision. So I'm imagining by going the distance, this is probably going to be plus money. If his opponent can hold on here in this fight and not get knocked out or submitted, which doesn't happen too often. He's only lost twice by knockout, once by submission, and most of his fights he's lost by decision. So, if I was going to go anywhere with this, I'd probably say a pick with the fight going the distance might be the decision to go with, and I think it's probably going to be plus money. So I'd definitely go with that. But yeah, I'm going to take Francisco Prado to win this fight. Marvin Vettori versus Brandon Allen. This is a very good prelim fight. Why it's on the prelim, I have no idea. I think these two definitely deserve to be on the main card. I have no idea why they're on the prelim, but good for us, right? My pick currently right now is Brandon Allen. He's been facing some top-level fighters. Anthony Hernandez, who, I mean, had a good performance. He lost to Emamov, who's 14-4 right now, I think. Or he might be 15-4 for all I know. Hold on, let me check him out. He's 16-4 right now, so he's been. I mean, he's lost to some top level guys. It's not like he's losing to Joe Schmoes or some kind of shit like that. So he's been facing some good competition, and his record right now is 12-4 in the UFC. For Brendan Allen. So yeah, I think I can lean towards him to win this fight against Marvin Vettori. I honestly think this fight could definitely go the distance. He's very durable, Marvin Vettori. He's only been beaten 7 times, all by decision. So he's never been knocked out before. And Brandon Allen, let me check out his wins towards the finish. He's usually won his fights by submissions. 14 of them out of 24. And 5 of them he has won by decision, and 5 of them he's won by knockout. So, I mean, it's possible that he could submit him, depending on how good Marvin Vettori's defenses to the takedowns and so forth. I think he's pretty decent with that. If I was to do anything, I'd pick Brandon Allen to win by decision as a prop, or pick the submission. If you want to do both, you could. And I'd sprinkle a little on each just to see if either one of them hit. I don't think he's going to win by knockout. I think Vettori is the better striker, probably. Seeing Brandon Allen's knockouts, he's only been knocked out twice. And I don't think he's been knocked out in the UFC at all. He lost by 2 of his fights by decision in the UFC there. He did lose to Chris Curtis, but Chris Curtis was doing a bit better in the UFC back in 2021. And then he lost another fight to Sean Strickland. I mean, it's possible Vettori could win this, but Vettori's been on a bad losing streak. He hasn't been looking all that impressive to me. So I will take Brandon Allen, but as a bet, I'm going to say that this fight can go to a decision. I really think that is the direction this is going to go. So if you want to go submission or decision by Brandon Allen, you're going to lose one of them guaranteed, but I think one of them will hit, most definitely. Next, Kyler Phillips versus Vinicius Oliveira. I'm taking Vinicius Oliveira all fucking day. I'm not a fan of Kyler Phillips. I don't think his fighting style is going to be able to beat Vinicius Oliveira. He's been an underdog plenty of times in the UFC. I think he's going to pull off a victory here without question. And I think this fight is going to go to a decision, more than likely. I don't think Kyler Phillips is going to be finished here. I think he's just going to win by decision. But Oliveira has won by knockouts 16 different times in his career. He did knock out Bernardo Sempoja with a flying knee back in March of last year in his UFC debut. And then he defeated both Ricky Simone and Sardar Nakanova as well. So, you know, I think the fight could go to a decision, though, but I'm going to be safe here. Take Vinicius Oliveira. He's a minus 165. That's good odds to bet on when it comes to betting single bets. So I'm going to go that direction. But he is actually part of my parlay piece in that. So the next fight will be Michael Johnson opening the UFC 318 main card against Daniel Zellhuber. I think Daniel Zellhuber is going to easily win this fight against Michael Johnson. I think the fight will go to a decision more than likely. I don't think that Daniel Zellhuber is going to lose this fight against a 38-year-old veteran who has been win-loss, 50-50 all the time. So I honestly think he'll be able to pull off this victory. I don't see him taking an L here, and I think he's got the ability to win this fight by decision. I don't think he's going to be knocked out in any way, shape, or form. He never has been either. He's very durable. So he's only gotten 2 losses by decision, all in the UFC. So that's not bad at all. So if you want to play it safe, God forbid he has an off night and want to go with the decision, the fight going the distance, I would definitely say that would be the correct course of action if you want to do a single bet on that. But I think Daniel Zellhuber will pull off a victory here without question. Next, we have Dan Ige versus Patricio Pitbull. I'm taking Dan Ige. Honestly, I don't think that... I think that Dan Ige's got the capabilities to win this fight. I think he's going to win by decision. This is going to be another decision fight. So yeah, I honestly think Dan Ige's got the capability of winning the fight by decision. I don't think he's going to be able to win by knockout. And even if he was to lose, he's never been knocked out or submitted in his career, which is very impressive. Most people cannot do that. Patricio Pitbull, let's see what he's lost by knockout, had 1 submission loss, 2 knockouts, and the rest of his fights have been all by decision. So, with that being said, it's probably best, if you're going to bet on anything, don't bet on the fighter, because either one could possibly pull off a victory here. I'm going to say that the fight goes the distance, and that's pretty much it. That would be the bet I would take on that, but I don't have odds on that, so I will come back to you guys on these other picks for individual bets next week, or not next week, later on this week, on Thursday, and we'll go over that. Kevin Holland. Actually, wait. I think they might have that up, because I do believe they have the main card for total rounds. So let's see where they got this going. All right. So let's see. Dan Ige and Pitbull. Yeah, this fight, this actually does have that. They have it projected to be a minus 250 for it to go the distance. I mean, that's a little bit of a high bet. I mean, it's a little bit, going a bit high there to do a singles bet. I mean, if you wanted to do it as a parlay piece, you could. I think the fight could go the distance. Total round prop, 2.5, 350, minus 350. I'd say the best way to go is the distance. I think the fight can go the distance. So, yeah, I'm going to go that route. I'm going to say that this fight can go the distance, and that's that. Next fight, we got Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodriguez. I got Kevin Holland winning the fight, but I would not bet him. And the reason why is Daniel Rodriguez could pull off an upset here. He's on a 2-fight winning streak too. He's been looking pretty good. I mean, he did have a split decision with Alex Moreno, which is not good because he's already out of the fucking company. But, I mean, Kevin Holland, he took 2 L's back to back. Renier de Ritter, he's a guy I thought was good. Roman Dolores, I mean, he's fighting in a main event fight night card, so I mean, it's not like he's facing shitbag fighters or anything. It's just he was kind of on a downward spiral for a little while. He's 15-10 in the UFC, which is like betting on Michael Johnson, really, if you think about it. But, I mean, look at the people he faced. Michael Page, Jack Della Maddalena. He lost by a split decision with Jack Della Maddalena. back in 2023. Stephen Thompson he lost to. Kizma Chimez, who's facing for the UFC championship in their weight class. I mean, there's some guys he's faced that are not unknown fighters. Marvin Vettori, Derek Brunson, all in 2021 when these two guys were at the top of their game. I mean, he's faced some pretty tough, stiff competition. Brandon Allen he lost to by a rear naked choke. I mean, he's faced some top-tier competition. So I wouldn't say that Kevin Holland's washed or he can't win this fight by any means. Let me see what kind of options we got here with Kevin Holland. I'm going to recap with you guys on that with the single bets next week. So these picks will be mentioned on the next video on Thursday. So keep an eye out for that. I think the best bet to go with is probably the total rounds at 1.5 going over. I think Daniel Rodriguez could last at least 1.5 rounds going into like the latter part of the second round. So I figured that would be probably the best route to go with on that. Next we have Paulo Costa versus Roman Kopylov. I'm going to say that Roman Kopylov can get the job done. I think he can definitely pull this off. I don't think that he is going to lose this fight. Last fight, he lost to Anthony Hernandez. And that was by a rear naked choke. Paulo Costa, on the other hand, he has not been all that impressive. Kopylov has won by knockout 12 fucking times. Jeez. Guy has been finishing some people. He recently finished Chris Curtis. Paulo Costa, let's see. He's been knocked out 1 time. That might be a little bit of a difficult task for Roman Kopylov. He's lost, though, 3 times by decision. I'd say the fight probably ends. I'm going to go ahead and see what the props are for this. Oh, they don't have it. Okay. Well, I don't have that available yet to go over with you guys, so don't worry about it. We'll go over that later. Oh, wait, never mind. I hit the wrong one. So they got fight going the distance as yes at minus 180 and plus 135 would be it not to go the distance. I think has being the better and getting the best value, plus 135 would be the best decision. So I would say no, it doesn't go the distance. If you want to go total rounds, just to play it safe, I'd say 1.5 would be the best bet. It gives you a little bit of, of a chance to hit, but it is a minus 475, so you'd have to parlay that piece or just moneyline Kopylov and you got it. I think Kopylov could pull off this victory more than likely. That's just my thoughts on that, but I'd say do the plus 135, fight not going the distance. At least you can win plus money. If you happen to lose, well, then you happen to lose. That's just the name of the game of sports betting. But at least it's got a chance to possibly hit at plus 135. Next, we have Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier. This is a hard fight to choose. But I think Max Holloway, after 2 losses to Dustin Poirier has nothing more to fight for except trying to win the BMF title in his last fight and walk away with the W. I mean, Dustin Poirier really, I don't even understand why he's having this fight. He has nothing more to prove. He's done a lot in his career. He's sustained a lot of damage. But I don't know how to go with this fight, honestly. He's been knocked out before, he's been submitted before, and he's lost 2 fights by decision. He's 22-8. He's got a fantastic record for the amount of fights he's endured in his career. Max Holloway, he's been knocked out once. That was against Poirier, which is common to do. And he's been submitted once by Dustin Poirier in the first fight that they ever had. This is when they were both in their early 20s. So this fight, I'm going to say this fight goes the distance as a bet. But as a pick, I'm going with Max Holloway. I think Max Holloway can do it. If I was, betting on the fight itself, I'd say the fight goes the distance is a minus 145. I think the fight could definitely go the distance. If you want to do both Max Holloway winning and fight going the distance, you're more than welcome to do so because, I think both of those could definitely hit. So yeah, I would definitely go on that route, is the fight going the distance and Max Holloway being the guy to win. If you want to bet on Dustin Poirier, I don't blame you. Dustin Poirier has beaten him twice. So there's been no signs of Max Holloway showing that he can actually beat Dustin Poirier. But I think this being Dustin Poirier's last fight, the amount of damage he's sustained in his career, and so forth, generally a lot of times the retiring fighter having his last fight doesn't usually go out on top. So I think that the best bet is Max Holloway. I'm taking Max Holloway to win this. I think he's going to be the guy that goes out and balls out. I think he strikes him up, and I think Dustin Poirier ends up losing the fight. I think he gets 2 rounds, Dustin Poirier. Max Holloway gets 3 rounds. I think the fight's going to be close. I don't think either fighter is better than the other. I just think Dustin Poirier has been fortunate that he's been able to take the rounds, except for their first fight, which Dustin Poirier was doing all kinds of work, standing up, on the ground, what have you. But Dustin Poirier, as has gotten older, seemed to be more comfortable on his feet. And their last fight was at UFC 236. He won by a decision. And, at the end of the day, if you're not certain about who you feel is going to win, just go with the fight going the distance, and that's it. Minus 145. And you should easily get that with no problem. But that's just my picks. Some of the bets that I'm taking. I'm going to come back here on Thursday with UFC content and go over the best picks for each fight and give you guys my thoughts on what's going to happen. UFC 318 takes place on July 19th. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, by all means, hit the like button if you liked the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. Thank you guys very much for watching. Have a great night, guys. Bye.